Nerds. I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton.
And today we are going to be diving back into Taylor Swift albums with Speak Now, Taylor's version, and talking about how it relates through some of our favorite moments and characters from the Fourth Wing.
Yes, so join us with a cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets. Okay, so let's start off here. We are super excited to jump into this, but of course, we are going to dive into these characters today. So if you have not read Fourth Wing, a lot is about to be spoiled for you. I mean, everything.
All the way to the end.
All the way to the end. So huge spoiler warning for Fourth Wing. Read the book, come back. If you love Taylor Swift, that's even better. We are going to jump into these characters and the songs. So leave. Bye. See you later. So let's start off with probably one of my favorite comparisons Aubrey has down here is Taylor Swift's Mine, Taylor's version.
Yes.
We are comparing this song. It's Violet to Taryn and Adarna. Oh my. That's perfect. It makes me want to.
It's just so cute. Like the whole dragon relationship thing, everything about it is so cute. From the start to the end, you are the best thing that has ever been mine. I can see Violet saying that to them, and I can also see them saying that back to like Violet, and like at the beginning when they both kind of like claim her, and she's like, I'm not the one you should be claiming. Like, I'm a weak ass bitch. I've got this disability. Like, everyone said I was going to fail. Why is the biggest dragon and a never heard before dragon claiming me? And they're just like, because you're mine. Because we love you.
Yes. And it's so funny because this book has a lot of found family elements into it. But the biggest found family is her relationship with her bonded dragons. And because also in this book we see a loss of family, it's that like full around circle of what, Taylor's also really trying to show in this song is that like I've never really had anything and there's a lot going on in this world, but like I know that like you have chosen me and like you're mine.
Yeah.
And you have down the lyric, like we're taking on the world together. And that's so true because they have formed their own life together.
Yeah.
Which, especially during this album from Taylor's point of view, this album was like a transition album from like her childhood to her being on her own.
Yeah.
And that relationship that takes you from this to that. And it's not romantic in the sense that usually Taylor and all these songs will dive into. But there's something so sweet about just the whole idea of this song when you think about the relationship between Violet and those dragons. Oh my goodness.
It's so cute. And yeah, like you were saying, this is a romance album. Like Taylor Swift writes about love and heartbreak, and Fourth Wing totally fits the bill for most of these songs. Like I love and obsess. We have a few stretches and we have a few songs where like take the romance out of it and just like look at the root of the song. And the root of this song is that found family, that idea of like, yes, this is my comfort, this is my person, and these are Violet's dragons.
So we'll just say probably out of most, like, there's a lot I'm excited to talk about today, but mine, every time I listen to that song, I was listening to it in the car and I was just like, to my boyfriend, I was like, you understand that this relation to something in a book I just read, it's just like, it's hitting so deep right now. So yes. All right. Let's move on to the next one. You have to introduce it for us.
All right, so the next song on the album is Sparks Fly, and this is the first song we're going to be looking at our favorite, our new book boyfriend, Xaden, and his relationship with Violet. Specifically, we are going to be looking at their very first kiss. There's a lot of songs in here that we have related to Xaden and Violet, and so we're going to take it and break it up to specific moments throughout the book, because we're working with one book here. And I think that Sparks Fly is just the perfect song for their first kiss. I mean, one, you're feeling the sparks, like, as they're like, oh my god, they're finally kissing. But even the idea of, like, you're the kind of reckless that should send me running, but I kind of know that I won't get far. Like, Violet knows all the time. She's like, this is my enemy. He wants to kill me. And yet she keeps going towards him.
Yes. Yes, I even wore my sports bike shirt today.
Yes.
From everything else in the 4th grade, because it's just that kind of like the idea of like kissing in rain is so kind of reckless and dangerous and not in the norm of what most people do, and it's that kind of like once in a lifetime kind of romance. And I think that's why, especially this scene for the first kiss, it is reckless because he's the enemy. She knows she shouldn't be kissing him, and he knows he probably shouldn't be kissing her, but there's something that feels so good about it. And then you have down here, you touch me once and it's really something. You find I'm even better than you imagined I would be. That? Because think about it. Enemy. I mean, this preconceived notion of like her mom killed my dad.
Yeah.
She's horrible. And in her head, she's like, he hates me.
Your dad killed my brother. We know it's not true, but at the moment, she's like, the family blood goes thick.
So you find him even better than you imagined I would be? Like, even if he's like, oh, she's not that bad, and then they get to know each other more and they have that kiss, and it's like, oh shit, this isn't gonna end well.
Yes. So, I also love the theories that later in the relationship when they're talking and Violet's like, I love you, and like, you're mine, which I know we put it to the other people, but like, obviously it's a love story. But he said something about like, I've been yours longer than you've ever imagined. And there's fan theories online that Brennan, Violet's brother, who we find out the very last page is still alive, actually, obviously Xaden knew this the whole time, that Brennan told Xaden stories about Violet a bunch, and he kind of fell in love with her through these stories, and so then meets her. And so this idea of like, you find I'm even better than you imagined I would be, like, Xaden already had built up in his mind who this like incredible Violet person is. And then he like actually meets her and he's like, ah.
And they actually fall in love, and she is way better than he ever. Oh, I just wish you could stay on this song forever because I see the next one and I know it's just I'm just about to get really angry. But yeah, so the Sparks 5, good one. I wish we could stay in the Butterflies forever. Yes. And you know, that scene's something when you're reading it, you're so captivated by it, and like you just want to be in that forever. But you know, like when you move on, like you're not gonna get those butterflies as much as you did for like that first kiss. So that's why I think there's something so good about like this book, because it's just like encapsulates what, like, I wish I could read it for the first time again.
Yes, definitely. And also,
the
like,
whole book sparks. Oh my goodness.
The whole book just feels so Sparks-fly, feels so Speak Now to me. Like the idea that when Fourth Wing first came out, it was, everyone's like, it's just like Divergent, it's just like Aragorn, like it's just like all, it gives you that childhood nostalgia. And then obviously with the re-recording of Speak Now, I'm like, this was my album. Like this is the album I listened to as a kid, and now I get to have it again. And that's what Fourth Wing felt like to me as well.
Yes. Love it. All right, let's turn the page a little bit, something different. We're back to December, and this is Dane apologizing when Violet goes loose on his ass in the next book. So back to December, Taylor's version. We all know this is about Taylor Lautner. And this song is about someone who messed up. And I think for Taylor being 1920 and writing this song about how she was wrong and did it in such a like amazing way, like that is amazing. But on the Fourth Wing side of things, yes, Dane has messed up. He's messed up. So he is going to have to swallow his pride and stand in front of her and say that he is sorry. Because
it's a mess. So these next two songs, Back to December and Speak Now, we're going to be talking about Dane. and specifically
Yes.
our ideas for him in the next book. And so Back to December is what I want Dane to do. Like, besides the fact just getting like angry and like straight off like killing him, you know what I mean? Like, if Dane is going to continue, if he's going to get any type of redemption arc, he needs to have a Back to December moment. He needs to like have a come to Jesus moment and be like, no,
Yes.
I fucked up. I was wrong. And then I like the line of, it turns out freedom ain't nothing but missing you. But instead of freedom in Dane's case, I like the idea of him realizing that his like obsessive need to like always follow the rules, always report to authority, always like, you know, that archetype that Dane fills in, because I think that's why he betrays her in the end, because it's against the rules. All Xaden is, and that secrets, and he's just so stuck in that. And I want him to realize that choosing that over Violet was the mistake.
Yes. No, I think that's a great lyric to Cool, because he does, and I think that's his biggest downfall. Is I do think there was some jealousy as he saw Biden fall. Biden, oh my god, Violet fall in love with Xaden. But they did have that talk and say that they'd probably be better off as friends, blah, blah, blah. So then you add all of that together. So people like to shit on Dane. I do think he messed up, and I think he honestly violated her. But I do think he's like his own worst enemy, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or because he does have this like need to keep on protecting rules and following rules and protecting her, I should say, is that I think that's where the instead of, you know, the freedom putting the rules in is like such a good point to add in here, because he thinks he's doing the right thing, but if he would just listen to her,
yes,
he didn't want that. So yes, that's what. Let's hope that at some point he has his Back to December moment. But we're in our speak now.
Yes, and
here,
so we hope he does Back to December. But more likely, Dane thinks that next book he's going to be Speak Now. Dane is living in Delulu here. And I feel like in his mind, he's like, next book, he's going to be like, see, didn't I prove to you that Xaden was bad? Can you believe that? You will be happy. This is my Dane's daydream, is realizing that he was right. We should follow the rules. We should cast Xaden out. He is dangerous and bad, and what he did only proved that point. And don't you see how I am protecting you? You just need to hear me out right now. Like, that is Dane's Delulu.
Yes. He's gonna think he's the hero coming in to save the day. He's like, I knew he was bad, and I'm here to save you, and you know, you're better off with me. And I don't think that's going to end well for him.
No.
Because I think Violet's a smart girl, and she may use that to manipulate him in the future, which would be interesting.
Ooh.
But that could be interesting. But yeah, no, I don't think the Speak Now moment's going to work out as well as he hopes it would.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in I don't think Rebecca Yarros has that in her deck of cards for Dane.
But
I do want him. Like, I really do hope that he's not the true villain of the story.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not looking too good for him.
It's not looking good. And I feel like he's going to have eventually, even if it's not in the next book, a moment where he's like, oh, I'm on the wrong side. And I wonder how much Violet is going to try to help him with that, or just be furious over what he did to her, because like both are kind of like valid. Like, I could see her being like, he was my childhood friend, he was so much to me at some time, like I don't want, like, you need to understand this. But I can also see her being like, that's not my fucking problem, you're not a child, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to my better than revenge moment, which we will get to.
Yeah.
But first, the next song in the album is Dear John, which we have Violet speaking to the Sorrengail family about.
Yeah, so this is also, taking the romance heartbreak away and just inserting the heartbreak here. I think this fits so beautifully.
Yeah.
Because Dear John, aka John Mayer, if you didn't know, which you should know by now, it's this manipulative praying game and this power game that Taylor kind of paints that John had over her. But I really see this with Soaring Gales, where it's like Violet's this young girl, and it's just like right here we have and I lived in your chess game. Violet never had the choice as to who she was going to be, what she wanted to be. It was always the writer's quadrant for her. It was always whatever her mom wanted. And this is kind of, even though she followed through with it, after all the shit hit the fan, I think this insert when she's in that battle and they're fighting alongside who they thought was the villain.
Yeah.
This is so I'm excited. I hope Violet gets a scene with her mom next book, and that is going to be her Dear John moment.
Yes, I think that would be so good. I love the bit, and you'll add my name to your long list of traitors who don't understand, and I'll look back and regret how I ignored when they said run as fast as you can. Like, okay, one, a moment for Taylor Swift. Two,
yes,
the idea that when Violet comes out working for the Rebels, because eventually that's going to happen. If not next book, some point in this 5-book series that we are still on book 1 for. I can see Violet's mom being like, oh, another traitor, add it to my list. I'm gonna, oh, you're bad now. Maybe if Violet's mom already knows about Brennan, she might already be like, oh, you're a bad guy. If Mira knows, I can see how this Sorrengail family is kind of oh, you're bad, putting it on the list. And then the idea of Violet looking back and being like, how did I believe that this was the history? How was I ever on this other side and not knowing what was up,
Yes. And even when there's this line where Taylor in the song says, never impressed by me acing your tests.
Yes.
Even when Violet pulled not one, but 2 dragons, her mom was
almost mad about it.
Yeah.
Dane was almost mad about it. Violet's mom was nothing. I feel no one took a moment to be damn girl, you really did it. After that moment, I was expecting the whole oh, you can't be a writer stuff to drop, and it didn't. And no one gave Violet the appreciation to be you pulled.
Yes. No, I love this song for this scenario. And yeah, it goes back to the found family and the literally excommunicating family. She's lost everything.
Yeah.
But no, I really do hope that her mom, who has known about Brennan this whole time, is just you're just like him, because then in reality, if you think about it, if she knew Brennan didn't die, and then she killed him off, she wrote him off.
Yeah.
The song says.
And she was very intent. Violet speaks about making sure all of his stuff is burned like you do for a dead person, and maybe that was just overcompensating. She just cut Brennan off. She just wanted him dead.
Yep. Crazy.
Z.
All right, while we're on our rant here, we can jump to, this will be Violet to Jack and all of her haters song, which is Mean.
Yes.
And there's this Mean was when I was very young and this album came out. This was Mean was because it had that nice beat, that country beat to it. Oh,
yeah.
I love this song. And there's this line that says I can see years from now in a bar like talking to a football game.
Yeah.
Big, loud, same opinion. And then she says, washed up and ranting about the same old guitar thing. Ranting about how I can't sing.
Yeah.
But something like that. And yeah, ranting about how I can't sing. But this is just like what Jack's like, you're gonna die. You're not gonna make it. You're weak.
Yes.
And it's like, I was like Taylor and Violet could be the same person, because Violet's kind of like, you think I'm not strong enough to make it, that's fine, but watch this.
But watch
this. You're mean, you're a liar, and you're pathetic, and you're alone in life because you're dead.
Because I actually incinerated you.
I incinerated you.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like, so much of this book, Jack obviously being the face of it all, was just people telling Violet she couldn't do the shit that she was constantly proving she could. And Taylor talks about how, like, it's just a critic who doesn't seem like they're doing the job of a critic anymore, but just is jealous, just wants to push you down, and is not, like, sharing valid opinions anymore. And that's how I especially feel like Violet was passing the test. She was making it through the school. People were dying, and she wasn't one of them. She pulled 2 dragons. She was proving that she deserved to be there, and people were still just being like, no, you shouldn't. You're weak. You suck. You're the weak link. She made it. She proved her point. And Taylor made it, and Taylor has proved her point. Like, it's just so perfect.
Love it. Love it. That's a great one.
All right. Moving on to our next song. This is one that I felt really excited about because I feel like it just tells the story very well. The story of us for Violet and Dane. And this is going to be leading up to before she finds out about the betrayal, because I think after that, things definitely change. But the song opens with I used to think one day we'd tell the story of us, how we met, sparks flew instantly, people would say we're the lucky ones. And I think that really describes Violet going into the book. And she's like in love with Dane, kind of. Like when she comes in, she kind of she has this fantasization about like, oh, we were childhood best friends. Like, I wonder if he sees like how hot I am in this leather. Like, I wonder if his body's toned. He's, helping me in his room. And she, has this idea of like childhood friends to lovers, and that's what she wants. Then it transitions as you go through the song to, because lately I don't even know what page you're on, and I think that shows like as they're going through it, she's realizing that like Dane's views don't match up with hers. Like, he keeps trying to push her to go to the scribes, even though that's like, I think, illegal. Like, I don't think you're allowed to jump ship.
You can't jump ship. No. And she's just like, even at first, she's like, yeah, maybe. And then she's like, dude, like, we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
I know, like, by looks, I shouldn't be here, but, like, dude, like, you gotta get on the same page as me. Like, I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta catch up. And he doesn't.
Yes.
And that leads to her being like we said, her being like, I'm here, stop pushing it. And then they get into like an awkward like friend fight where like I think it honestly might even be the line from the book where Violet's like, yeah, I'm not really speaking with Dane right now. Like, he's kind of like being like grumpy and offstandish because like she kind of put him in his place. So obviously that fits our chorus, and we're not speaking. I'm dying to know, is it killing you like it's killing me? Because at this point, she just wants her friend back. Like, she was like, Dane, we've been friends. I just want you to be my friend. I just want you to understand that I'm here. I'm kind of killing it. And you should just be happy for me. Like, we can just be friends. And he wouldn't let her. He wouldn't let them. So it will obviously lead to the story of us looks a lot like a tragedy now. Next chapter. Hello, Iron Flame. Hello, Xaden. Hello, Rebellion. Like,
she moved on. moved on. Yeah, next chapter is totally it. And then it finishes with, but you held your pride like you should have held me.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, not necessarily romantically, but you should have held your pride in your rule following.
Yes.
Like how I told you I needed you to be there as a friend.
Yeah. You should have been my friend and not a fucking stick in the mud.
Rule following. Yes, stick in the mud.
To a bad point. Like, obviously following rules and being someone who follows the rules isn't a bad thing until it's like, hey, what you're doing, like, you're taking things from my mind without consent to listen to our authorities. Like, grow a mind of your own.
Yep. And that is tragedy. Oh, and I love the story of us. I had a friend that texted me a couple days ago, and they're like, top 3 Taylor Swift songs with 3 honorable mentions. And the story of us was in there just because Taylor's ability to tell that story in, you know, that 4-minute, whatever long song is just like, I just think everyone can relate to it, whether it's romantic or not, because we've all had people in our lives where you're just like, you're not getting it.
Yes.
We're not on the same here right now. Like, you're in a whole different chapter than I am right now, and it is a tragedy, and so.
Yeah, and even the bridge where you're like, I would be so much happier if we could just be going back to friends. I will lay my armor down. We don't need to be fighting. If you would please just, like, get on my level for a minute. Like, if you would please just, like, understand that this isn't working and we need to do something. And next chapter.
Next chapter. Alright, this song has been such a quintessential part of my life, probably like the past 2 years. And it's Never Grow Up. And I definitely think this to Violet to Adarna is just like so special because we know at her age, 1, she's super rare, and 2, at her age, to be mated or bonded or whatever, to be bonded with, not yet, you're too young. To be bonded with Violet is just like crazy. And my favorite thing about Violet and Adarna is, like, my favorite line is when Violet's like, go roll around in some dirt to like hide yourself, and she cares. And even during that last like battle, Violet like is thinking about Adarna, like, no, like hide, and wants her to be safe. So this idea of like, oh darling, don't you ever grow up, like just stay this little, because Violet learned very fast about how cruel the world can be. And how dangerous it is, and does not want Adarna to get hurt. So I think that's a really cute, you know, anything with dragons, we're just like, oh, the dragons, like they're like 9 and never grow up, and love it, love it, love it, love it.
Just obsessed. They're so cute. Okay, next we have Enchanted for Xaden and Violet again, but now we're gonna go to before the first kiss, because Enchanted is just that song about like crushing on someone. It's like that very, like, you know, that beginning where you're just like, oh, I wonder if they're thinking about me. I'm thinking about them. I wonder if they're dating anyone, because I hope that they're not, you know, like that kind of like stuff. And like, we're in Violet's head. We know she's thinking about him constantly. Yes. Even when she shouldn't be, Violet is homegirl's thinking about him.
What I love the lyric, count all your quick remarks like passing notes in secrecy, because every time people read Fourth Wing, I'm like, did you get to the tree scene yet? That's my favorite scene, because they banter so well with each other, and there's this like, oh, when Xaden's like, I can see you, and she's like, oh, and she falls out of the tree. It's just like, yeah, it's like, I love that scene because it's the feeling you feel when you have a big, fat, freaking crush on someone. Yes. And you don't want them to know, but they totally know because they totally have one on you too.
Yeah, it's just so clear.
There's just, those scenes are so enchanting, just to be like, oh, it's just so cute and so sweet, and I eat that shit up. That
Yeah.
was so
Yes.
cute.
Amazing. And Zayden's so wonderstruck by Violet. I mean, he like
Yeah,
by violence. Like he really is just like in all of her, especially when no one else really is. Like no one else can like just see her for who she is, and he does, and it's adorable and like giddy, honestly. Like the beginning, like that kind of stuff is just like the giddy shit that I love in a romance story.
yeah, you're totally caught up in that like little frilly like dancing around by
Mhm.
themselves like sort of thing where you can totally see they're daydreaming about each other, and there's nothing more romantic than Enchanted by Taylor Swift. Like it's
Yes.
she has a lot of great songs, but there's nothing like that captures that just innocence of just, oh my god, I really like you a lot.
Yeah.
You make me feel a certain way.
And I even love the bridge is like, please don't be in love with someone else. And I think about how Violet kept being like, oh, is he dating Imogen? Are they together? Is that why like Imogen's training me now? Is that why they're seen with each other all the time? Like, are they together? And she's like, I hope not. I want to be with him. Like,
And Zayden would even sometimes be like, oh, like Dane, like, oh,
yeah,
your friend over there. And I was like, I don't like Dane.
yeah,
Like, I don't do with him. He's actually really annoying me right now.
yeah. And
Uh,
Brayden's like, I
so
saw you guys kiss, and she's like, oh, he kissed me.
that
I
was a
didn't kiss
mistake.
back.
Yeah. But from like the perspective of like the songwriting itself, it's like when you do like someone a lot, the worst thing that could ever happen is that you hear that they love someone else, or even that they
Yeah.
have loved. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there have been times where you're like, oh, like your ex girlfriend you've had like from 6 years ago, do you still like her? It's like, no.
Like, what do you mean you love someone before me? Like, no.
Yeah.
You felt this with someone who wasn't me?
Yeah. That's not okay. So it is, yeah, Enchanted has such a, and that is when I think of, I think when a lot of people think of Speak Now, they think of Enchanted just
Yeah.
because they the big purple dress and just
Mhm.
living in this fairy tale world. And I think for a few moments in the beginning of their relationship, you saw that
Yeah.
through Violet's eyes. Like, Violet, I think you like him.
Violet, you're thinking about
So-
Zayden's dick again.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about him. Oh, love Enchanted. But we are about to get on our, boss bitch shit here with
Mhm.
Better Than Revenge, which Taylor did change the lyrics to in the new
Yeah.
her version. But we knew that was coming.
I'm trying to learn the new lyric. I'm trying to.
It's hard.
It's really easy to just sing the old one over the new one.
That's what I've
Don't
been
you dare
doing.
listen to the stolen version. If you are
Yeah.
obsessed with the old lyric, just sing it right over Taylor. Okay.
That's what I was telling my boyfriend in the car. We were listening to it, and I was like, "Listen to this," and I sang it over top, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that isn't the same." And I was like, "I don't really know what the new one is. Something about a flame and a moth." But I was like, "It's really." She was holding. He was a
He
moth.
was a flame to the. He was a moth to the flame. She was holding the matches. Whoa.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's it. So, Better Than Revenge, we are going to have Violet to Dane in our dreams for the next book.
Yes. Yes.
This is what is going to happen because she is a
Okay.
boss. She's a boss. So, yeah, now go stand in the corner and think about what you did. Because, yeah, I love Better Than Revenge.
Yes.
And I do think that there is going to be some type of revenge Violet is going to have against Dane. And
Yeah.
I think that, like, even a little bit, like, you've been bad. And
Yeah.
it'd be different.
You fucked up.
This is the thing that I'm having trouble with.
Okay.
If Dane was just a rule follower and messed up because he was one to a fault, okay. But he did kind of break the rules by reading her dang thoughts.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he needs to go stand in the corner and think about what he's done because this is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. If the
Bad.
betrayal, if that last bit didn't happen, then I would be like, I would not be as much of, I mean, and obviously that's why it happened, but like otherwise it's like, okay, he wasn't a good enough dude for her. He's like you all have like a Dane in your life, you know, who you're like, ugh, I just wish you were a little bit different. Like I wish you were a little bit of a better man, you know.
Yeah.
But like then he like just like takes it just like a step too far, where it's like, where shouldn't taking my thoughts without my consent also be like a role that you have? Like, shouldn't that be part of your little morality uptightness, you know?
Yes. So then when the lyric comes, I never saw it coming nor would have suspected it. We wouldn't have either.
No.
It took me seconds to be like, wait, shit. He read her thoughts. I did not suspect that would ever happen.
No.
Like I did not see it coming ever, because it's Dane.
A girl on TikTok went back and went through all of the other moments when Dane touches Violet's head, like without, like, you know, obviously making it clear that he's reading her thoughts. And I think it was like, I think the number was 16. Like, it's possible that 16 times Dane cupped her head, because I mean, what's the chance that he got lucky and the very first time he did it, he got the dirt he wanted on Xaden? Like, the likelihood is that every 16 time mentioned on page, we do a lot of time jumps, that Dane was rooting through her fucking head.
Yeah. That's messed up.
Pushing people down to get you where you want to go. Dane is literally trying to hurt Xaden to put himself higher up in the ranks of the military. He is stealing Violet's thoughts without her consent, which, like, I cannot imagine. Like, someone, like, being up in your head.
It's so violating. Yeah, and that's why I said, like, it's hard, because I really liked Dane. I think he's a little misunderstood because he was a little immature, but this is what makes it unforgettable and unforgivable. So yeah, when she said he's not a saint, he's not what you think. He's not.
Yeah.
He's manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you would expect that from someone like Xaden, not Dane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the image that he shows. So the hope is that next book, Violet, you know, assumes the spirit of better than revenge. Obviously, this isn't about a relationship and, like, Dane didn't steal her man or anything like that. But that anger, that need for, like, revenge because you sabotaged something in my life. That is the energy I want to see from our lightning wielder, 2 dragon rider girly.
Yes, I imagine her, like, bigger, better, stronger than ever, and is kind of just like, come on, like, when she says, show me how much better you are than me, and can just, like, beat the shit out of him. I just think that she's kind of, like, taking back, like, you know, everything she has built and who she is. She's kind of like, you know what? Show me how stronger you are than me. And that can go for a lot of people in this book. So, yes, better than revenge. Love it.
All right. The next song on the list is Innocent, which, if you know, it is written about Kanye West as a response to what happened to Taylor Swift and Kanye West at the VMAs when he interrupted her. And the song is this idea, it's an idea of I forgive you, but it's masked in passive aggressiveness. Like, it's a forgiving, but it's an also like, look at the mistake you made. Like, you fucked up. And, like, I don't know, the idea to me, if like a 19-year-old was saying, like, you're 32, you're just still growing up, and I was 32, like, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd have to go, like, sit in a corner and cry. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, the idea that, like, you force the 19-year-old girl to be a bigger person than you because you couldn't do it. And that is what I see for Violet to specifically her mother. I just see this idea of, like the even the beginning where, like, left yourself in your warpath. Like, Mama Sorrengail is so hung up on her role, from what we know at the moment, of being like this general person that like whether it's about the rebellion or about just like how she should have treated Violet. Like, she should not have forced Violet into the Rider Squadron. Like, Homegirl wanted to be a scribe, would have been amazing as a
Yes.
scribe. And while we know that she grew in the Rider Squadron and proved herself, like, it's not what she wanted for herself to start. She had to later claim it because of her mother's, like, forcefulness.
Yeah. No, I think this is really good because I think, especially like from Taylor's point of view, it's having someone hurt you who is so much older than you and is supposed to be the one that's like being a mentor to you and kind of like people in the industry are supposed to be lifting you up.
Yeah.
And instead it's like how brave and strong, even though it's passive aggressive, to kind of be like, you know what, like this is whatever. Like,
yeah, you're not worth my time.
You're not worth my time. Okay, moving on here. This is when all of our hearts kind of broke.
Yes.
Haunted. Violet to Zayden when she realizes he was with the rebellion this whole time.
Oh my gosh. I remember getting to this and being like, no. Like you kind of can tell that it's gonna happen eventually. Like, we knew all along that he was like a rebellion son. We knew all along he was meeting with like these other children of the rebellion. And obviously at this, even the idea that the rebellion wasn't actually wrong and they're the right ones, like none of this is particularly new to fiction. Still done amazingly well. Like, not anything against that. Like, it's a good story for a reason. But still, when you get to it and it happens, and Violet's like, why are you talking so calmly with this person? Like, we were just like making out, we were just having a good time. And like, Zayden kind of doesn't even give a moment to explain stuff to her because he's got to deal with this other stuff. And it kind of just leaves Violet like stranded, being like, what? Like, how?
Yes. I think these lyrics are, you and I walk a fragile line, I've known all this time, but I never thought I'd live to see it break. I know that this is probably not the best relationship or person to pick, and this is a fragile thing because of our past, but like, she kind of, when she goes on and says like, come on, don't leave me like this, I thought I had you figured out, kind of like, I've trusted you, I've given you, I've chosen your side, and now it's like, this, yes, I'm living to see this break down the way everyone told me it would. Like, I feel like a loser now, and this is so haunting because I trusted you.
Yeah.
And she, and so when she goes, something's gone terribly wrong, you're all I ever wanted, because it's almost like Violet put all of her eggs in one basket.
She committed to him at this point.
Yeah, yes, they've done the deed enough that she's chosen her side to go with him and follow any sort of thing you want to do. Just kind of like, you know what, like, screw everyone, I don't care what they say, like, you're not a bad person, you're not a rebel, I trust you. And then this shit happens. Oh no.
So heartbreaking. And I can feel the bridge of like, I just know. And like, when you hear Taylor sing it, and the Speak Now Taylor's version, Haunted, is still just as good, and you cannot change my mind. Haunted is my favorite Taylor Swift song, and the Speak Now Taylor's version of it is still just as good, and I will die on that hill. But that, like, kind of like the emotion, the rawness of like, I just know, like, I knew so well what this relationship was, and I knew that it could have happened like this, but I didn't want it to, and I stood on that cliff with you. I put all my eggs in this basket. I told you I loved you. I told you that you were mine and I was yours, and and then this happens, and then you kept this
Yeah.
from me,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna get betrayed. Like, oh, my heart breaks for Violet in this moment because
That was
she's
so hard.
so brave about her emotions. Like when she was
Vulnerable.
telling
Yeah.
Xaden she loved him and all that stuff, I was like, girl, stop. I was like, you're gonna get hurt. I'm like, I'm not that brave. Like you're doing a lot really quickly, but she's so
Yes.
like shameless in that. She's like, I don't care. Like this is how I feel. I'm going to stick with it, and she puts it out there, and she does that, and then he betrays her.
Yes. And it is haunting, and I'm still haunted by it because
Yeah.
that part sucked to me. Because I was like, yes, even though if he is on the wrong side, like we're gonna work it out. But then like the way that he just like kept it from her, like it was rough. It was rough. It is rough.
It's bad time. It's a bad time.
It was bad timing all. All right, last two here.
So this last one, Last Kiss, is an amazing, heartbreaking song. Taylor called it one of her saddest songs.
Yes.
There was not a lot of sad breakups in this book. So we don't have a lot to go off of. So we're gonna step into a world of open-mindedness, imagination, and stretching the hell out of the meaning of the song. So we're gonna strip away all of the romance of this. Pretend the song's title is not Last Kiss. Pretend this is just about, like, just take the root of the feelings of this song about being lost. Like you used to be so close with someone, and then there's this barrier between, and you don't have that anymore. And we are going to compare it to Violet and all of the Soaring Gale siblings.
Yes.
Preface out of the way.
This like whole song, this song is all about loss, and I feel like Violet's whole life has been surrounded by loss.
Yeah.
Brennan 1st, right? And then we have Mira thinking she's going to lose Violet. And, the dad dies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot.
There's a lot. And I'm also worried that next book, so if Brennan has been alive this whole time, did Mira know? At any point, did Brennan try to bring Mira in and she chose to stay on the opposite side? Because I feel like if that is true, or Mira has never been brought to the rebellion's cause because they don't think she would be sympathetic towards it, then I feel like there will also be that idea of now Violet kind of mourning Mira because she looks up to her sister so much. And that idea of like, if it's not what she thought it was, like, I think that's heartbreaking. And I especially like the idea of the bridge of this song. And I saw this on TikTok of people comparing it to their siblings before, just this little bit. So I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep, and I'll feel you forget me like I used to feel you breathe. That idea of like we were so close, and then in real life, if like a sibling moves away, like I moved an hour and a half away from my siblings, and now I know them mostly through, social media and pictures, and I still am friends with them. They're still my siblings, but the relationship's not the same anymore now that I'm out of the house. And that idea of the relationship between Violet and her siblings, especially Mira, not being the same anymore.
Yeah.
If Mira's kind of on the wrong side.
Yeah, and if that's what she chooses to do, like, she's going to see someone you love and have loved so much life through almost like a stained glass window, or like from far away. Like, you're not going to be a part of that. And yeah, I think that siblings do go through that, and I think that in this case, since we know all the siblings are actually alive now,
yeah,
from Brennan's perspective too, like he's been alive this whole time and has probably watched from far away. And I can't even imagine how hard that has been.
Yeah, because they had to mourn him and move on from him.
Yeah.
And they're big like I'm sure they get the news somehow. Mira's doing a bunch, and so like Brennan's actively watching her life with him now gone, forgetting him, mourning him.
Crazy.
Oh, that's sad. Right. And now we have another sad one to end it up.
Oh, this is crazy because I don't cry when I read books usually. I get like emotional or I'm like, oh, like I feel destroyed. But I cried when reading this part, and my mom read the book and she's like, Peyton, I cried. She's like, it's so crazy how reading does this to us. Is we really create these worlds in our heads because we're just reading words on paper, and we get attached to these characters and these authors create this world we're in. And that Long Live has been a song, especially the bridge, has just been like one of those songs where I'm like, this is a song you write when you're like in your 60s, like looking back at your life. And here's Taylor at 19.
Already thinking that her story's over.
Yes. So this is to Liam to Violet. Obviously, we know Liam dies. His dragon gets shot down, and we know a rider without his dragon is dead. So Liam is dying, and this song is from him to her, talking about obviously, and it's so funny because in this song, dragons are literally in this song. Like the imagery is.
This is our dragon. I have my little dragon pin. This is our dragon song.
Yes, and I've had the time of my life fighting dragons with you, which Liam and Violet were in the same class.
Yep, yeah. Liam even pretended that he didn't have magic when he did to wait for her, so that way he could stay with her because he was her little like bodyguard.
Yes.
Like they were both first years together.
Yep, so it's the idea of like fighting dragons with you, kind of like going through the same paces of basically hell that we had to get through to get to this moment together. And the way that Liam has protected Violet, there's just like, oh my, this song is just perfect. We can go back more, but I just think that the dragon and the fairy tale imagery is so vivid and long-lived that you're just like,
it's so amazing.
This song, if they make a movie, it better be.
No, literally. And like maybe she can even say like riding dragons. At the time of my life, riding dragons with you. Like that would fit too. Okay.
Yep.
The most heartbreaking part of this is the bridge. You'll stand by me forever. But if God forbid fate should step in and force us into a goodbye, please tell them my name. The idea of Liam being like, I am your bodyguard. I will protect you forever. Like right before that, we had a scene where he was like, no, you were my friend. Like you were always my friend. And then he's dying and fate steps in because his dragon dies. And so he's dying. And just this idea of please tell them my name. Like let Liam's death mean something. Let it push through.
And I think Liam's death kind of helped Violet and will help Violet get over that point of like, oh, I'm a traitor. I'm on the bad side. Because the whole please tell them my name and why that song is so insane for me is it's kind of the idea of like legacy and like passing on your legacy and your story and wanting to be on the good side of history or whatever that means. So I think for Liam to kind of convey that to Violet, kind of like don't forget about me. Like,
Yeah.
take this and tell everyone. Like, this,
Mhm.
what we have here is something incredible. And I think that that's going to really resonate with Violet. And I
Yeah.
think it's going to help her move on from the, oh, we're breaking the rules. Oh, like
Yeah.
this, are you good guys? Are you bad guys? And because she knows whether she is confused about Zayden or not, and doesn't know if he's actually a good guy or bad guy, she knows Liam's a good guy.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's for sure
Yes.
one thing she knows. So
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, oh my gosh. This song, I love it. And it's probably the best bridge. And I love that she performed it with the koi fish guitar
Yes.
in
Oh.
concert. I was so excited to see that. Jealous.
Yeah.
Very excited to see that.
Seeing other people live your dreams. No, I did get the long live sweatshirt. I almost got the sweatshirt and the t-shirt and the baby tee, and then I was like, girl, you gotta reel it in. Like, you
Yes.
can't get both. So I got the sweatshirt.
I was looking at them. I have to decide. I almost got the sweater,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't.
uh,
I missed it.
Long live is so beautiful. Long live all of the magic that they made. Long live Liam.
Long live Liam. That's the we shall get tattoos. Long live Liam. Like t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, here we are. We're at the end.
Yes. We are. Yeah, we're not doing the other half of this album, which is the 2 songs that were in the deluxe, and then the 6 vault tracks, because we've already gone too far. We gotta cap it. So we're capping it here.
Yeah, you know, T Swift here really tries to literally, like, I could listen to her. I mean, I can never. I don't have to listen to any other artist because she has so much music and in so much variety. If you're feeling poppy, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling country, like, you can diversify. So, and obviously because this is our second Taylor video, we are the biggest Swifties ever. So please, please, we would love to hear what you think. This was a bit more difficult with only one book to go off of.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think, even though we had to stretch some songs a little bit. Have you listened to Speak Now, Taylor's version only, man?
Yes.
I'm dying to know your favorite vault tracks. I'm already have a few favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to jump more into those. Which songs do you relate to as far as the book characters go? And let us know what you think we should cover next. We're always looking for, recommendations.
Yes.
Asks.
All right, guys. This was so much fun. Thank you for joining us, and happy reading.